Hello, it's Monday, and you know what that means, don't you? Yes, it means it's time to talk about ghosts with I and with you and with everybody in the room. Mainly being Bekah, really. And she's not in this room, she's downstairs. But we will be speaking to her shortly to do a Reddit corner. Yes, we shall. And it's a Reddit corner that's hot off the presses. I mean, within the last hour, please. Anyway, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing fantastically well. As is the podcaster's mantra, but I really mean it. Everyone else doesn't. I'm joking. I'm sure they do. Anyway, we've got a full show lined up for you today. I'm, of course, going to say a big thank you to our Patreons, have a little sing-song. Then we're going to do a paranormal review where I review the paranormal, so, of course, you don't have to. And then we're going to listen to a true listener experience. And finally, we head over to the dark and dingy basement, which we've been informed in recent weeks is not so dingy nor dark. That is Bekah's Reddit Corner. All of that and more coming your way very shortly. But first off, let's say a wonderful big thank you to our new Patreons. Now, when you sign up to Patreon, not only do I sing your name as a thank you, you lucky things, but you also get access to 2 additional shows each and every week. One where I ramble, and as you can tell, I like to talk, and I ramble about anything as well. I try to make it funny. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of like therapy for me, really. And the other one is a paranormal show that we attempt to remain on a paranormal course with, which is on a Sunday. So you get 2 of those a week, extra, yeah? Brilliant. Anyway, head over to patreon.com/we need to talk about ghosts to do so. Just like these wonderful new Patreons have. We have D Savage, Raina Kirshner, and Emma, and this song is for you. Oh. D Savage and Raina Kirshner, and then Emma. You signed up to the Patreon, and I want to thank you for keeping the lights on, for keeping the lights on. Thank you. Weird falsetto, but I think we can all agree a falsetto nonetheless, and it did end on a 7th. Thank you very much to you wonderful people. Don't forget, if you want all the extra stuff, go over to patreon.com/we need to talk about ghosts. Now let's have a paranormal review, shall we? Yes, it's time for a paranormal review where I review something paranormal so you don't have to take the time to review it for yourself. It makes no sense. To any new listeners, it's never made any sense. That's the joke. It's not a good joke, I grant you. Anyway, what we're going to review this week is a book. See, now I have a bookshelf, a bookcase, if you will. I beg your pardon. A shelf? Nay, a case. And within this case are a series of books which have either been given or have bought, and it's my paranormal bookcase. Now, at the back of this bookcase, where I just buy things and I throw in, was a book that I've had and I've seen and I've glanced at, but I've never really took the time to sit down and flick through the pages of. Now, this is called The Mammoth Book of Unexplained Phenomena by Roy Bainton, and it's dead good to dip in and out of. I've had it sat by the side of my bed for the last week, and I've just been picking it up and dipping in and out. So it covers everything from biblical UFOs to life after death, spiritualism, bowels to bereavement. I'm not too sure what that means. We've got like the Mary Celeste incident in there, stuff about mummies, paranoia. There's articles about, like mass paranoia and things like that. Bizarre archaeology, skullduggery, Himmler's Holy Lance. So, there's stuff about the Nazis and their occult trips and why they thought there was so much power in using the occult during World War II. And it's full of little minuscule, when I say minuscule, I mean, like you can pick it up, read a chapter, put it down, and pick it up and go to any other part. You don't have to read it in sequence to get the benefits of it. So it's a really good book. I think I've underappreciated having it because I've owned it for about 4 years and I've never really dipped into it. But as I say, over the last week and a half or so, I have, and I've really enjoyed it. So my review for this week is The Mammoth Book of Unexplained Phenomena by Roy Bainton, and it's definitely worth checking out. As these reviews, by the way, for any new listeners, they're not paid ads. These are genuine, just little paranormal reviews. I love the paranormal. I act like a tit on this podcast, as you know, and I do that because why not? But in all seriousness, I love the paranormal. I collect a lot of paranormal stuff. I watch a lot of paranormal stuff, and therefore, as you're listening to the show, I assume so do you. And therefore, if there's something which you may not yet have come across, I like to let you know about it so you can go and find it yourself. And that's the sole reason behind it. So, yes, this week, The Mammoth Book of Unexplained Phenomena by Roy Bainton. 2 thumbs up to the sky. Now it's time for my favourite part of the week, and I sincerely mean that each and every time I say it. And that sounded sarcastic, but it's not. I truly mean that. It's when I get to listen to your true paranormal experiences. Now, the person who's got in touch this week has a bit of a backstory in relation to a previous conversation myself and Bekah had about Ouija boards, okay? Now, this comes in from Sarah, and she writes, "Hi, Kevin. Hi, Bekah. Hi. And the neighbour's cat." She actually puts TNC, and the neighbour's cat, as you can tell there, was rather feisty. Like I had mentioned to you in my direct message, because what happened is Sarah had contacted me via Instagram first off. I had a slight WTF moment listening to you and Bekah talk about the guy complaining about the boards being sold in Poundland. She's put Pound Marts, but you know, the shops where you can buy stuff for £1. He mentions that if you had a spirit named Zeus, and she doesn't mention that in the email. She won't write it down. This is the thing. I'll explain why I won't say it in context later. That it's a demon. So basically, if you get Zeus, she doesn't write that name. She refuses to put it down or say it within the whole email, just so you know. She says it's a demon. You both say that you've never heard of that before. Well, that literally made me say, "What the hell?" out loud whilst I was working. Thankfully, I was working from home that day. You see, I had a spirit with that name on my board when I was a child. And to up the weirdness ante, so did a friend of mine a few years before that. Now, before anyone goes, well, they just influenced it, we never played the board together and only found out about the connection during a first conversation together. So this is the story, and also a bit of a backstory. And I can't wait to read this out to you guys, because I think me and Bekah, we did a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about somebody who said they had Zeus come through on a Ouija board, and we didn't laugh it off as such. But, you know, we were like, oh yeah, as if he's not got better things to do than come up on a Ouija board. This prompted Sarah's email, and as I say, it's impacted her so much, she refuses to write the word within the email, which I find truly both A, fascinating, and B, terrifying, if I'm being honest. But this is Sarah's story. When I was about 11 years old, I'm 40 now, I was downstairs in my house's root cellar, looking for something to do. This is where we kept all of our board games and such. Me and a friend were bored and wanted something to do. I'd been down in that root cellar so many times and knew what was down there, but was hoping something would spark our interest. While we were looking, I happened to see an old box that was a bit worn that I didn't recall seeing before under another game. I pulled it out and it was a Ouija board. It was a pretty old version, like the one I've pasted at the bottom of the email. And for listeners, it's a picture of a Ouija board you would expect to see maybe from the 80s or earlier. It had writing all over it, my auntie's name. We took the board upstairs to ask if I could have it and if we could play with it. When we got upstairs, my mum kind of snorted and was like, "Damn, haven't seen that in years." My grandfather looked at it and was obviously a bit displeased and said, "I swear I threw that damn thing away 20 years ago." But that was as much as they said, so I asked again, could I have it? My mum said that as it was my auntie's, I would have to ask her. Being the eager kid I was, I called her straight up and asked right away. She laughed, saying she thought it got thrown away too. But yeah, it's all yours. Have fun. So me and my friend asked my mum exactly how to use it, and she showed us. But she said it probably wouldn't work as it was missing the pointer piece that goes in the middle of the planchette. But we tried anyway, and we got a little out of it, but nothing too big. Just a few goofy words, and yes and no answers to will I get married, stuff like that. A few years later, me and a group of friends decided that we wanted to play with the board again. We started getting more responses out of the board this time. We asked what the spirit's name was and who we were talking to. He said his name was Keith Zeus. He had a habit of only answering in abbreviations. Like instead of using the yes or no on the board, he would use Y or N, and the first letters of colours and such. He was pretty nice at first, and we were all super excited about talking to someone. But we got bored only talking to him. We would try and talk to other spirits, like dead family members or famous people. We would think we were talking to someone else, but then one of his habits would show up, and we would catch him out that it was him pretending. Or we would ask questions that only the alleged person coming through on the board would know the answer to, and he would get angry when we would tell him that the answer was not right, and we would again ask if it was Keith. This is when he would start getting aggressive. He would start cussing at us, also being forcefully sexual towards me and one other girl. Several times we forced him through goodbye, thinking that that would fix it. He would be even meaner the next time we got on the board. He once even got into an argument with someone who was not even touching the board, threatening them, saying he would come to their house and hurt them if they took us away from him. That person didn't want to play and thought it was all dumb. They thought differently after that, though. I did also have paranormal activity in the house I lived in, but I'm not sure 100% if it was the same spirit on the board or another spirit in the house, and I don't live there anymore, so there's no other way to tell. Things got out of hand with that board, and I stopped playing with it. I honestly can't remember what we did, if anything other than just put it back in the closet and try to forget about it. When we moved, it was one of those things I either threw out or left behind accidentally. When we moved into our new house, I was unpacking things in my room and my closet. I opened my closet, and on the shelf was that damn Ouija board. The same one with my aunt's writing all over it. I went across the hall and grabbed my mum and was like, "What the hell? I didn't bring this with us." She looked at me and was like, "Oh yeah, sure, okay, whatever," and went back to her room. Pretty sure we got rid of it again. Well, when I was in college living in the dorms, my mum calls me one night. She tells me that there's been some really weird stuff happening in the house, and the board has turned up again, and she swore she threw it out. At this point, I was a lot more knowledgeable, and after talking to a friend many years ago about a similar thing, was like, "Well, first of all, I give you the board." Her response was, "I don't want the damn thing." I laughed and said, "I know you don't, but now it's yours. My aunt gave it to me all those years ago, so it was mine. That is why it's been staying with me. That house is still my home. Now it's yours. Now you need to take it to a dumpster and give it to the dumpster. Literally say to the dumpster, 'I give you this board.' It will then belong to the dumpster and not us anymore." I knew this because a friend of mine's mother had a witchboard carved from a piece of tree, and they tried to burn it, but it wouldn't burn until his mum gave it to the flames. Then it screamed and burst into flames. We've never seen the board since. Now, the friend that had the same spirit. We were talking for our first phone conversation, and it turned to ghosts and the like. I happened to say that I had a Ouija board, and he said he had one as a child, but hadn't done the Ouija board in years because the last spirit he encountered was bad. I said, yeah, mine wasn't the greatest either. I went on to mention his name, and the line went dead. He was like, you've been talking to Joe, haven't you? I said, no, we don't talk. He went on to tell me that that was the same name as the spirit on his board that he had issues with. We then went back and forth trading his trademark traits. Normally, I'm not one to be afraid of things like this, and I love all of it, but his name is the one name I will not say. You, of course, are welcome to say it, as I know I didn't. So I know it wouldn't come back on me type of thing. But the energy that came with him, or it, as it were, was not good. And I never want that back in my life or around my daughter, as I feel that she's becoming sensitive like me as well. I've never touched the Ouija board since we stopped interacting with him. I've nothing against those who do. I just warn the old "be careful what you wish for" adage. I do read tarot and I've done investigations. It's just Ouija boards I don't trust. Sorry if this was a long-winded one, but it had a lot with it. I've been keeping a list of all the stuff I've experienced, and I guess I must be pretty sensitive, because it's pretty big, and some are pretty recent. Hopefully you would like to hear more. Take care and talk to you soon. Love always, Sarah. Sarah, you know what I'm going to say. Please send in everything that you've experienced thus far, because that was amazing and terrifying. And, I mean, I didn't think that the name Keith Zeus, sorry for saying that, Sarah, would strike fear. I mean, anything with the name Keith should not strike fear, I don't believe. But I've genuinely got you know what? I got a tingle down my spine over when you said, you can say it, because I know it's not me saying it. And I know that I won't be encouraging anything. I thought, shit, I feel like I wish I never said it now. And I'll be perfectly honest. It's the middle of the day as I'm recording this, and I feel a slight chill in the room. But I think that's just my mind running away with me, as opposed to Zeus. Why Zeus? Anyway, yeah. I mean, I think when me and Bekah were discussing somebody saying they had Zeus come through, we were automatically assuming Zeus, the Greek god. It doesn't have to be, does it? Really? You know, there may be a lower class Zeus who's like a demon, as you put in your letter, or in your letter, like you wrote this out. As you put in your email, you know, to you, you won't even say the word Zeus, because to you, it's some sort of demonic being. And it's terrifying. It genuinely is. I am genuinely a little bit shook. As the kids would say, I'm shook. I don't know what the difference is between the way the kids say it and the way I said it. I don't know. Maybe they just say it cooler. I don't know. But yeah, if you do use the Ouija board, then heed the advice of Sarah, I would say. I always think with Ouija boards, see, I kind of flip-flop back and forth, because on the one hand, if they work and they truly bring forth the paranormal, then that is tangible proof, and we should be using them because we want proof. On the other hand, I think there's a lot of mental aspects at play that can linger and haunt only the user of the board, that will put them in a not very nice mental situation, in which case you definitely shouldn't play. So I don't know. I'm still torn. Either way, the cat jumps. An amazing email. Thank you so much, Sarah. And please do send in more of your tales. Now, it's time in proceedings when we head down into the dark and dingy, it's not dark nor dingy, basement area, where we get to speak to Bekah about the tales which have appeared on that social media thing known as Reddit, in what can only be described as Bekah's Reddit Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for Paranormal Reddit Corner with Bekah.
So here we are for possibly a penultimate time in Bekah's Reddit Corner. Surprise! Because she's still here. She just won't go. But she is more than likely going away for the whole month of February. So we are going to try and pre-record some Bekah's Reddit Corners. But you are here live this Monday.
Yes, I am here live in the here and now. But yeah, when we get kind of details on when I will not be here live in the here and now, we'll see what we can do. I might try and get some in the bank for you.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Coming to you from the past.
Coming from the past. Well, interestingly, today's main story that we featured from a listener it relates, doesn't relate really, but they mentioned the fact that when we were talking about Ouija boards, and remember somebody said they got in touch with Zeus, and we laughed it off.
Zeus?
Yeah, do you remember? We were talking about somebody playing on a Ouija board, and he said, and Zeus came through it, and we were like, I think he's got better things to do, sort of thing. And we were taking the piss.
Sure that was me?
A bit. Yes. No, sorry. Oh, shit, I blew myself up. It was the other girl I have on for Bekah's Reddit Corner. Of course it was you.
I don't remember Zeus.
But anyway, we were incorrect in taking the piss. Or, not taking the piss, but, in japing around with it, because we had a listener get in touch. And they have their own interaction
with Hera.
With Zeus.
Right.
Via a Ouija board. So it's not to be laughed at, and it's something that we should have been more open-minded to.
Are any of these listeners Greek?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
How was that not your first question?
Well, because I'm not fucking Stephen Fry, that's why.
What?
Well, I don't know, but it's a good question. I don't know. I'll ask. Well, the person who's wrote the story is listening to this now, and they'll have just had their story read out, so they can answer that question.
But only they will know.
Only they will know, if they've got any heritage. Anyway, just thought to let you know that, but that's not what we're covering in today's Reddit Corner.
Okay.
In today's Reddit Corner, we've got something which is only an hour old on Reddit.
Ooh, fresh.
I mean, by the time people hear this, it'll be a few hours old. But it's simply called Hair.
Hair. Like H-A-I-R or H-E-R?
H-E-R.
Oh, as in she.
As in she.
Ooh.
Oh. And it's by Single-Perception 660.
Okay.
And I will now hand it over to you.
Thank you. Welcome to Reddit Corner with Bekah. This story is titled Hair. That's my job. You shouldn't do that.
Yes, I do apologise. I realised that as I passed it over.
Let's begin. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure how to start, but my wife called me a few days ago. She said that she dreamt about me being in bed with another woman.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Doing Reddit Corner.
I won't cheat on my wife, and I haven't, ever. Anyhow, it's been 5 days. 5 days since I last slept, and I don't know what to do. The thing is, I have never had to deal with anything like this in my life, so I decided to contact my doctor and made an appointment. Are you sure this is ghost stories and not like relationship advice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, says Kevin. And instantly 50% of my internal monologue thought, shit, please let this not be about, like, health.
The days leading up to the appointment were terrifying. Every night I woke up, maybe 30 minutes or an hour after going to sleep. I would lay in bed for hours just staring at the ceiling or playing with my cat, and this would go on for 2 weeks.
I haven't wrote this ever.
That is until 6 nights ago. Have you cheated on anyone? Do you have?
No, neither does he.
Do you have a wife?
No. Well, technically. A common law wife. Anyway.
Common law wife. That is until 6 nights ago.
Right.
Let me give you some background.
Please do.
I live in upstate New York.
So it's not me, is it?
Well, not live, more like stationed. It was you who said, is this you, not me?
I know, yeah.
So why are you getting so
Don't
angry? See, I was wrong.
Don't know. Crack on.
Okay. Well, not live, more like stationed. I live on the area known as Old Post, and it's fairly far from my work area. I've seen many things that you cannot explain. Hell, I can't even explain myself. I'm in school for my physician's license, and psychology is a part of the course, yet I still can't make any logic of what I've seen. There were times I would see people standing at my door or in my vicinity that weren't really there. Sounds like I'm a mental patient, I know. Although there are multiple accounts other than my own to verify the things I was seeing were indeed true. Getting back to my story, to the reason...
Just before that you carry on, if anyone can hear a scratching in the background, the neighbour's cat has decided that now, during the recording, would be the ideal time to go and use a letterbox.
But you can't be mad at her. She's
Can't
so
be mad at her, she's so cute, but continue.
Sorry, she'll only be a minute.
She'll only be a minute.
You're really annoyed.
I'm not, it's just of all fucking times. It's just one poo a day. Honest to God, I'll do it now.
Well, yeah, because we're both busy. She's like, well, they're not doing anything interesting, so I'll entertain myself. Bless her.
It's covered. It's covered.
Getting back to my story, to the reason I'm writing this. The day my wife called me, I was probably on my second or third day of not sleeping. I can't tell you why I haven't been able to sleep, seeing as it's my first time going through this. Yeah, Google it is something most people would say or recommend. I did, and believe me, it didn't work. It's been 3 weeks. 3 effing weeks. Man, this shit is getting ridiculous. I started seeing a figure at my door every night. It has a feminine silhouette and just sits there every night staring at me with her glowing white eyes.
That's terrifying.
Maybe my mind is playing tricks on me, right? I thought, but why am I seeing this every night? I have a roommate because my wife isn't here. That's a whole different issue. And he's only staying here because he can't move into the barracks just yet due to his divorce. The thing is, why did he wake me up last night asking about the girl in the house? There is no girl in this fucking house!
Has he put that in block capitals?
Yeah, why else would I shout it?
Well, I don't know. To try and cover the sound of the cat. But
I got a cat and it's male. Why is some female that either of us know or have anything to do with in my house? What's the cat got to do with it? Yet she just sits in my doorway staring. She gets closer every night and I'm not sure what to do.
that's terrifying. That is terrifying.
My roommate sees her standing outside my door every night and he doesn't know what to do. Neither do I. All of this is too much and I don't know how to get her out of my house. If anyone has an answer, please, what do I do?
Right, okay. You know what really makes me laugh about that? It says, my roommate also sees her every night and he doesn't know what to do, which implies that he looks out and goes, oh, and just goes back to bed.
Don't know what to do.
Has anyone commented thus far?
It's
so fresh off the presses.
Fresh off the press, yeah, so hot on. Now, is there any chance that this fella is indeed having an affair and has put up this post as evidence for his wife that he's not? Because maybe his roommate's seen this woman and he's like, oh shit, now my roommate's seen her.
Yeah.
And what if my roommate tells her, or it comes up somehow, or right, I'm gonna have to start covering tracks here and say that there's a ghost.
Yeah, or the woman that he's carrying on with has said, in 6 hours' time, I'm going to tell your wife. So he thought, better put this on Reddit now.
I know.
And then go, well, oh, good.
She's now playing. The neighbour's cat has now come in and she's playing. There's some tissue paper on the floor from something we had wrapped yesterday, and we moved it off the couch onto the floor so that it wouldn't make a noise.
Crinkle during the recording, and the neighbour's cat's come down and is now stood on it
and playing with it. She's too cute.
If she had a drum kit, she would right now be setting it up.
Dumpa, dumpa, dumpa.
Honest to God. Such a naughty TNC.
Yeah, so what do you think about the fact that this is
a
like
ruse.
It's built in evidence? Yeah, a ruse. Exactly.
No, I don't think it is a ruse because I mean that the vision of something with glowing white eyes getting ever closer night on night is terrifying.
Yeah, that is terrifying. But he seems quite chill about it. I don't know. I mean,
does he? He stuck to Reddit and told people.
No, because he says he started off by saying, "I just can't sleep." Like, oh, I can't sleep. It's a nightmare. I just say they're laying at the ceiling.
Interesting. It was only after his wife said, "I'd dreamed that you had a fancy woman."
No, that wasn't clear at the beginning, but he clarifies that later because he said the day my wife called me, I was probably on my second or third day of not sleeping.
Oh, okay.
So he started not sleeping. Then she had the dream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he started off just by saying, "I can't sleep, can't sleep, can't sleep," and now it's "I can't sleep." Because there's a woman with glowing red eyes in the door.
White eyes,
sorry. Yeah, that's different than just "I can't sleep."
Yeah.
It seems a bit all over the shop. Like when he said there is no girl in this fucking house, and then he says, "I got a cat and it's male. Why is some female?" Like what's the cat being male that's doing anything?
Well, maybe I don't know. Actually, it's a good point. I don't know the relevance of that in regards to the story. But here's an idea. Here's a very far out there idea. Maybe, they talk about the old hag syndrome, sleep paralysis. Maybe he's witnessing the old hag approaching. So maybe this is something. Imagine this. Go with me on this. This is an interesting little tangent, if I do say so myself. Nice. Imagine that the old hag is a real phenomena. It's a real woman with white glowing eyes, and that 90% of people never see her approaching because they're asleep. They just wake with her on them, and they can't move. Whereas because he's not sleeping, he's one of the only few people to see the old hag approach. And then it would be interesting to know if, like, in a week's time, he's like, woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't move, there was a woman over me. And everyone would just go, sleep paralysis. But in reality, he's witnessing the old hag. He's one of the few people to have witnessed the old hag. If you can hear another noise now, by the way, the cat decided to eat a dry food.
Oh, well, that's a cute little noise.
It is a cute little noise, but honestly, fucking hell.
You can eat your wet food as well today,
Yeah, eat your wet food, it's silent.
It's not silent, but it's quieter. Theory number 2, the roommate brought it with him.
Ooh.
The roommate, going back to adultery, there's definitely some adultery happening here.
Yeah.
Definitely. The roommate has moved in because he's recently divorced and has nowhere to live. So maybe this was his fancy woman or something.
Or is the man even divorced, or did he kill his partner?
Now we are making leaps.
And now it's the spirit of his dead wife trying to say, "Phone, please."
I know I was making leaps there with there's definitely some adultery here, but that's a hell of a leap.
It is a hell of a leap. Well, either way, Bekah, thank you very much for taking your time out of your day to join us to host Reddit Corner.
You're welcome.
And hopefully we'll speak to you in the future, in the past, with some pre-records.
Hopefully, yeah, in the future, in the past. Like it.
Yeah, okay. Say bye to everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, cat.